Call. Oh, we're gonna call the Parks Committee meeting to order at 5:01 at Village Hall. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Quinn,
Here?
Marlene Plumich,
Here.
Ed Nelson,
Here.
Helene Wannstetter,
Here.
Paul Normington,
Here.
Jeanette Mayrack,
Here.
Tracy Van Alstine.
Here.
Kelly Dennison. Here. Park Supervisor Mike Lund.
Here.
He wasn't sure.
Clerk Unity Secretary Catch and Deputy Clerk Hogland to record the minutes.
Okay, thank you. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Citizens' comments. Are you folks here to comment on the parks agenda? No? Okay. Okay, thank you. So nobody in the audience, is anybody on Zoom?
No one's present on Zoom.
No one on Zoom. Very good. Okay, so the next item is the approval of the meeting minutes from the 9/11 meeting. Does anybody have any comments or revisions? Yes, Jeanette.
When we voted to approve, I believe it's part B. Let me find it. It's page 2, new business. A. For hiring a design firm. I thought the motion said it was to look at all the parks except Lisbon Community Park. Did I miss something there?
When we did the minutes, we actually went back and we listened to the recording and we transcribed it. So we got the wording exact to what the motion was.
Okay, does no one else remember that we had some discussion about, we knew what Lisbon Community Park needs were, and we did not have to include that?
My recollection was if we were gonna do that, we were going to want an overall view of all parks, including community
Okay,
park.
then
Yeah.
thank you for clarifying
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
Okay.
I seconded and I
Okay,
agree. with
Yep.
what Paul
Okay.
said.
No, good. No, thank you, Jeanette.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any comments or revisions on the minutes? Nope. Does somebody want to make a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, Marlene, any seconds?
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Correspondence. Does anybody have any correspondence to share? Nope. Okay, moving right along. Mike, Park Supervisor report.
All right, this past month, we've been working on spreading wood chips at, along the trails at Lisbon Community Park. We've performed some baseball infield maintenance, sprayed for weeds. Worked on some building maintenance, pulled weeds, and worked on the irrigation lines for the new tree nursery. We continue to mow and mulch leaves. in the
Yes, can I
soccer
call you
fields,
back?
And, we cut up some fallen trees, in the parks.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. Anybody have anything for Mike?
I have a
Where's the
question.
tree? Where's the tree nursery?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is the
Oh.
tree nursery? Where's
So
that at?
it's, we're putting the tree nursery in, so it'd be the field just east of the maintenance building.
Oh.
We're gonna fence part of that in and then start planting trees for planting in the parks eventually.
On that same side of the road or on the other side?
Same side of the,
Hardwood trees mostly.
it's good, yeah, it's gonna be a mix of
A mix.
everything. Yeah,
And so they'll go in as little trees with the
Yeah.
intention of then transferring them to other parks
correct.
as needed.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, speaking of the trees and the like, perhaps you're well aware, but the new trees that you planted along Oakwood Road
Mhm,
and they were caged to keep the deer away.
mhm.
The cages can come off anytime because otherwise you'll never get them off,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
as you're well aware, because they're growing right through your cage.
yeah,
now.
they're doing well.
Yeah, they're doing very well.
Yeah.
Taking off all of this.
Yay, good.
And the deer aren't messing with them.
Well, the
That's what
branches are sticking out.
They got off to a rough start.
Yeah.
Mike, at that site, is there water?
There is now,
Okay. Yeah, because obviously you're gonna need it.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Does that come out of that newer shed? The water? Or all the
no,
way
out of our maintenance
out of
building.
the maintenance building?
Yeah, it was like 220 feet we put in.
Okay.
Okay, awesome, Mike. Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business, review and approval of the updates on the 5-year plan. We're not, we're not,
I thought- Once we give you a half-finished version to approve. I promise
Yep.
I will have them.
we'll table that for next time.
Did you give her the one update that we did on the 5-year plan? Yes. At our meeting?
I did not. We'll get it in the new one.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll move on to B, discussion and necessary action regarding future toilets in community park and recommendation to the village board of the same. Oh, you found it. Yay. Okay, good. Thank you, Kathy. So we have a couple of different, Kathy is handing this out right now.
Thank you.
Number on this. So, one thing I don't know if we gave them, Marlene, was the,
Did you get the picture from him for the one with the?
no, he never gave me, this is all he gave you in front of you. So I think as a board, we've kind of talked about this and we think probably our number one priority right now is to get flush toilets up at LCP. So there's a couple of different avenues that we can go with that. That was in our packet from last time. So I guess what we need to decide is, and talk about a little bit is just one structure with toilets in it and that's all it would be? Or do we want to have a structure with toilets and, you know, maybe a section we can put picnic tables, do, you know, little events under kind of thing. So we want just toilets to go up by the ball field or so that's where I want to open the discussion is like, what is everybody's thought about that?
Well, historically, we were looking for just flush toilets.
Mhm.
Then the discussion, of course, mushroomed into, do we want to have, in addition to that, do we want to have an area where people can, you know, sit out of the weather, et cetera? And possibly even have it for concessions. Paul, I have a question to ask, and I know it'd be very speculative.
Yeah.
We have two of our board members, not the committee, but our board members, full board,
Mhm.
are both retiring.
Mhm.
Okay. Is it feasible that the board wants to wait until the new members come on, get comfortable, and then proceed on this, considering we're knocking on the door of the last quarter of this year?
I think that a new board will have some say in it, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever decisions get made right now are gonna be budgetary
Yeah.
decisions that,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we approve the next budget. So that'll be budgetary decisions.
Okay,
At
will
that point.
will the budget be, I'm sorry, will the budget be approved this year or are we, okay,
This year for next year.
all right. So,
Yeah.
the new chairman, whoever that person's gonna be, and a new committee member, possibly two other committee members. I'm just wondering, I don't know how the committee feels about this, but I'm just wondering if since maybe I'm being too unrealistic, they're looking at a 6-month scenario between their getting elected. Because they're stepping off the board when, in February?
They would stay on until the new members come in.
Okay,
The only thing with that
So
is
maybe
that you
it's not
gotta
an
wait
issue.
a whole year to get it into next year's budget for the year.
Yeah, my thought
Mm.
process is, I think, I mean, as long as I've been here, we've been working on this. I think we really should do this and
Let's
get
get
our priority
done.
list up there. I
Yeah,
think the sooner
okay.
we do it, the better, honestly.
then in that case, okay, forget that idea and realistically, if what we can afford,
Mhm.
because I don't know what we can afford. I think the board does. And I don't see us doing a fundraiser, quite frankly.
Mhm.
And we're not gonna raise enough, you're not gonna put jars around, you know, a town
No.
hall here and a village hall and raise money. So, at the minimum, I'd like to see, obviously, men and women flush toilets.
Mhm. Yep.
The other question is maintenance.
I think what you're getting ahead, I think what we were, when we had a meeting, we want to get into the budget, what we want.
Okay,
We want flush toilets. And then we were talking about, this is the one from Milton,
yeah,
the bid with the flush toilets, with the little kitchen with the pull down and a little thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so exactly. So let's kind of stay on topic here. And
And that is,
So I think, I guess what Marlene and I were trying to kind of get to doing this is we have a ranking of all the things that we want to do. Now, we can put stuff on there like, you know, pickleball courts and all different things, but they're going to be low in the ranking. What we want to do is go number one. And so this is the recommendation we make to the board to say, this is what the Parks Committee feels the priority of all this should be. This is our recommendation to the board.
Okay, well, I know other committee members obviously have input. I would, my first priority would be the flush toilets.
Yep.
Because we've been talking about this for a decade.
Decade.
Yep.
If
Mhm.
possible,
Agreed.
longer.
The other
And
thing,
I'm sure the committee members are tired of hearing about this.
yeah,
The second objective would be a pad. Somewhere because this doesn't show, this just shows the bathrooms.
Right, that would be just,
A pad that would include, obviously, open, it wouldn't be enclosed, it would be open, you put picnic tables on it, and you could have a service area.
yep, Marlene did get a quote on that, so. So we
Okay.
do have,
That's fair.
we do have some numbers to apply to this, so we can kind of get this a little bit in our heads. Now, the thing that Kathy just dropped off, there's no numbers on that one. But to do something so what Marlene has got is a 40 by 68 foot shelter that has flush toilets. It's got the space for picnic tables, and it would have like a kitchen thing that you could zone off. So you could do like tournaments, you could have bigger, rent the shelter for bigger parties, that kind of thing. That's pretty pricey. That's up over $500,000.
I was just gonna say, this,
Yeah.
we're looking at a very basic building here,
Correct.
but even at the basic end, considering labor costs, material costs, this is probably at least $250,000.
and Ed, you have to remember, this was, let's get started.
Yeah, no,
Let's get this out and let's get it into the,
So,
I realize that, and that's why, there's two parts, A, B,
yeah.
done. And-
So- yeah, so I guess that my thought on that is I think that we keep that flush toilet and I think that would be very well received with the board. We keep that as a number one priority, and then the money is really going to dictate what we can do, like what money is available.
The other thought that we were talking about that is replacing the existing, I call it dump toilet, with flushable toilets, just the basic like Kathy gave us. So then for Lisbon Community Park, we're asking for 2 separate buildings. But like I say, we're asking here, let's plug it in. Let's say, here, now we finally came up with something. Here's figures. Let's see what we can do. Could always go out and get other figures from somebody, but if the board says no to everything, then we move on and put it in for like next year. But we gotta start getting the stuff in now.
Paula,
Yes,
we sometimes run way ahead of ourselves when we make some off the cuff kind of major decisions like that. When it comes to the placement of these bathrooms, whether it's just a small little unit or it's a little bit larger
mhm,
unit like this here, the location is essential.
agreed.
It has, you can't just put it anywhere, and
No.
people have been talking about, well, we can put these bathrooms kind of anywhere. It
No.
has to be visually connected with the playground, so the mothers can see their kids going to the bathroom.
Mhm.
It has to be visually connected to the shelter, so if somebody's up in the big rental and they send their kids down there, they can see that. It needs to be at the crossroads where when you're coming into the park in the wintertime, if you're going to the sledding hill or you're going down below, you know where the bathrooms are right away. They're not lost at all.
Mhm.
And it has to be visible to security. The police have to be able to see it from both Oakwood Road and when they go in the park. Because they go up Oakwood a lot more at night than they do going the loop in the park.
Mm.
And for the neighbors who can see it for security, the best place for this bathroom, and they have to really consider, is where they're putting this ball diamond is about home plate of the ball diamond.
Mm.
Because it's a perfect location visually, it's a perfect location because it's right next to the pump house and the electric that comes in.
Mm.
Otherwise, you're trenching below the frost line, wherever this bathroom's gonna be. And if you move it any other location, you're either trenching through the ball diamond
Mm.
or you're trenching through the playground
Mm.
and the like.
Paul, I don't mean to
Should have
cut
been
you
a building.
short.
But it's an essential. I'm
right.
not finished here. Let me finish, okay? Then you can cut me short. I propose that the ball diamond be put on hold until it has to, until we have a site plan.
Paul, I'm gonna stop you
I'm
because
gonna
the,
finish.
Yeah.
the ball timing is not gonna be put on hold.
I'm gonna
It's a done
finish,
deal.
Let me
We know
finish my
that.
sentence here. I was out there with Joel.
We,
And we
Paul,
walked-
we know that.
And we
It's,
walked.
we don't
where
have
it's
the
gonna
time
be,
today. We got so much to go through.
But but the placement of the bathroom.
You,
is
I
key.
100% agree that the placement is important. Until we know what actual structure we're gonna have, we don't know if that's
But
gonna be,
don't build that ball diamond ahead of it before they do. a
They will
plan.
be built in junction.
But
Everything has
Okay,
to
there-
be
But you
laid out.
can't move the bathroom any other location once that ball
Okay.
diamond goes
Right.
in.
that is not for us to decide right here, right now. That is not on the
But-
agenda. We're not talking about that, so we
But
cannot
it's-
talk about
it's
that, not on the agenda.
essential to
Understood,
the-
Paul. Listen, Paul, I understand
It's
you're
the-
passionate about this and I really
No,
appreciate
It's
it,
essential to the.
but I need to
bathroom.
stop you.
It's
Paul,
essential-
enough,
I need to stop you.
Are you?
You need to
Enough.
stop.
Stop,
please,
Yeah,
please.
it's essential to the. bathroom.
enough, please.
The site will be decided once the
understand.
building is decided, right now, we're just talking about our priorities about putting stuff up there right now. The ball diamond is
Like-
happening. I'm
I'd
sorry,
like
just,
to make, I'd like to make a recommendation
That ball
that
diamond
we-
is a smaller site than.
that
ahead,
we-
Marlene.
Put-
Paul,
Keep going, just
Paul,
keep talking.
this is getting-
I'd like to make a recommend,
What
actually-
is the bathroom.
Paul,
What happened?
Paul,
That
chill.
was the most.
I'd
Well,
like
I
to-
need to ask you to please respect this meeting. I understand you're passionate about this, but I ask you to please respect what we're doing here at this meeting now, sir.
I'd like to
Okay.
make a recommendation to the village board that we include in the
By your plan
into the 5-year plan
and just a recommendation
And-
for,
for a
For-
shelter that is very similar to the one by MP with 2 drop toilets or 2 flush toilets and a area that was open for sitting and possibly a kitchen area.
I think we start, I'm just gonna amend
Yeah.
what you're saying. I think what the recommendation needs to be is we are gonna recommend to the board that there should be flush toilets in LCP.
Right.
At minimum, a building with 2 flush toilets. If we can get funding for other things, we will attach other stuff to
But
it.
it has to be built for the future.
That's what we're
Understood.
doing.
That is what we're doing.
And can we put in there also that a possibly replacement of the existing toilet with flushable toilets?
I think that's understood, but sure, we can add that.
You have
So
to,
can
would
read
have
that
to
back,
have
Desmond, so we know what
2 separate
We're-
structures. So they understand, once, they're both flushable toilets, but there's 2 separate structures for 2 separate areas. Thank you.
If you can read that back, so we know what we're gonna vote
Hmm.
on then. Okay, so everybody will know what we're voting. Yeah, go ahead.
Question. So if we do bathrooms with a connecting building with, a pad and cover and kitchen and stuff like that, and that's a rentable shelter. That's gonna be connected to the bathroom. So if somebody's renting this shelter and all of a sudden there's like a baseball game. And there's constant traffic with the bathrooms because
Same
the
thing.
bathrooms
Yeah,
are.
Now
but
with
we
the
will have-
shelter.
Yeah, and it's like what we have now. You know,
Once you put a baseball diamond in
But the
there.
bathroom's not connected to another building right now, so you would
No.
almost think that if you're gonna like rent this building, you have these bathrooms, but then you're gonna have
well, I think,
constant other people
That's
coming.
I think you have to
to-
come to the understanding that if you're renting the building, you don't get sole use of the bathroom.
Right.
Right,
I mean, Well,
Yeah.
you would
But
think.
bathrooms
there-
are
some people
public.
are gonna have it
No, it's a
parked
good
that
point.
way.
It's a good point.
yeah, thank you.
And you already are fighting for the big shelter on the
Hold
hill.
And there is 2 buildings, 2 structures with at least 2 flushable toilets that was included. And then did you want me to include the fire plan for the shelter? That is.
The fire plan? No,
No.
no fireplace.
No, we're not gonna have a fire pit.
No.
So the yeah.
Oh,
so-
5 year, okay. I was,
That would
I
be
actually just
very long.
keep the 5-year plan out for now.
okay.
Yeah, just keep that out for now.
So 2 structures with at least two flushable toilets.
In each.
In each.
In each.
So that's the recommendation. So remember, this is the recommendation. Yeah, Kelly.
Sorry, so it seems like on the sheet we were just given, the recommendation should it include or not include using ARPA funds to do this project, which is where it becomes time sensitive. right?
That, well, yeah, that's gonna be, the board is gonna have to figure that out because those funds are
What's
all
ARPA?
over the
What
board.
is ARPA?
ARPA was the money that was given back to the states for the COVID relief stuff. So there's a lot of,
Get
a lot of
second.
hands that,
What's on
yeah,
this?
going that way.
Get a
Okay.
second.
So now this is the recommendation we're gonna make to the board that we would like to have 2 sets of flushable toilets up at LCP. One being standalone that would be by itself for just playground equipment and stuff like that. The other that would be attached to a bigger shelter. Okay,
Yes.
so that's what we're gonna recommend. What we get is what we get, but that's what we're gonna recommend. So is everybody in agreement with that?
For septic reasons, wouldn't they have to be fairly? close
There
to
won't be
each other?
septic.
Yeah, they may or may not be septic. They can do them where they're flushable, but you can pump
You
them
gotta
out. There's no.
plan for the next 30 years. You can't make these decisions like.
We're
this.
not making a decision.
We're
making a
recommending it to the board.
This is a recommendation.
We don't know what kind of budget we have, Paul, so we,
Yeah, but that is.
you don't bring the final plan to the board to do this.
No.
I'm sorry, you just don't.
It's like putting that ball diamond in without anybody walking.
All
But-
enough.
But still, if you walk it.
Okay,
you
we're gonna
see
go
it.
ahead and vote on our
Do we have a
recommendation
second?
to the board. Oh, you already did?
No.
I'm sorry, I just want to do this. So we're going to vote on the recommendation to the village board to put the 2 sets of toilets up at LCP.
Mhm.
That's what's on the table right now.
And it's understood that it's a recommendation.
This is a
Board
recommendation.
could say no. to the package.
Until
That
we
is
see what else
possible.
we're gonna
Yes.
Yes.
I will second the motion.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, okay, so that passes, great, okay. So now we're on to the playground equipment. So we've got obviously a number of different parks and we had this company come out and most of our playground equipment is at its lifespan right now.
Mhm.
Lucky.
So we do need to think about replacing a lot of this equipment. You do have prices in front of you now. I'm glad we got them because I have no idea what playground equipment like this costs. It's actually not as much as I thought it was gonna be, which is kind of crazy, but it's still quite a bit of money. So what I'd like to do is to prioritize the parks as we see that equipment needing to be replaced.
Mm.
So does anybody want to start? Marlene, you want
Yeah,
to start on that?
let's start at, what we'd like to, well, we'd like to make a recommendation, but we'd like to do is say, we want all of these to be assessed and as a one recommendation, not each park separately. Okay, this is gonna be a total package, replace all the play equipment. And-
Understanding that the board can pick and choose the pieces inside it.
Yeah,
Okay, so I don't.
yeah. Again, I think, just looking at time stuff here. Community park, of course, is the most. And we did talk to Mike, we've done some, calling and talking and seeing if there's some pieces from some of the parks that we can move to other parks. There's one piece that Mike came up with, who knows what happens down the road. I think you did move something from Stone Family.
No, I still have most of the stuff, but none of it has been installed yet. A lot of it gets destroyed when you remove it.
Okay.
Because that's all concrete, so you've been pipes and not a lot of. use.
Okay, but if there is something that can be reused, we can do something with it.
We'll figure that out.
I would
Okay.
think insurance carriers would prohibit that.
Yeah. Community park, I think would be number one priority.
So do we want to look at that community park?
Yeah,
So what kind of the thought process from the,
it's in this one, I believe.
yeah, I gave you all of it. If you look through, it's gonna be towards the end of your packet. So community park are the last 2 pages of the packet.
Yes. I have a question, Paula.
Yes, go ahead.
Ages that are recommended.
Yep.
Using these two,
Mm-hmm.
it starts at age 5. There are children 18 months to age 5.
Yep.
Who also come to the park. How would they be able to use this equipment in
Yep,
a
so
safe way?
again, this is just what he saw to replace. That we have all that different aged equipment in here. I think we could kind of like pull stuff out and move it around if need be. So for other parks, there's the younger
Okay,
stuff, so we could, this is really, right now. We want to, what I really want to be able to do today is to say to the board, here is our order of priority, right?
Mhm.
Because this is budget time, so we really want to know what is most important to this group.
Okay, well,
well,
we'd have to be all geniuses, and I am not, speaking for myself, in terms of the wear and tear on all this equipment in our various parks. For example, I would think Stony Hallquist, wouldn't have to be on the list because Stony Hallquist has that playground equipment that was just installed
That's
within the
Stone
last 2 years.
Stone
Stone
family,
family, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
That's not even on here.
Okay, bang, that's
Yep.
gone, that's good.
Right.
We were just talking about Lisbon Community Park. I believe the playground equipment we have LCP is over 25 years old, Mike.
Yeah, I believe it 30-ish.
Okay, so it's definitely reached probably within the industry, its lifespan.
Yeah.
So in terms of LCP, that would be a major consideration. Okay, because it's our biggest park and it's increasingly being utilized, and of course, we have more subdivisions around there, blah, blah.
I agree. I think that the playground equipment at LCP should be number 2 on the list.
Yeah.
In priority.
Number 2.
Okay, moving on.
Toilets in,
Oh, the toilet.
toilets in. So the
Yeah.
toilets are number 1 priority. Now,
Yeah.
number 2
Yeah.
priority would be the playground
Playground
equipment at
And-
LCP.
These are just my thoughts. Stony
Yeah. No,
Hallquist,
go ahead.
for example, Stony Hallquist. The only problem I have with Stony Hallquist, if you don't live on the north side of Lisbon or Kay, nobody in their right mind is gonna cross that road, especially with kids.
Hmm.
And there really isn't very much housing anyway. I do not know I know that,
They all need replacement.
the Stony Hallquist, there was a concern about the equipment was there. I have not set foot in that park for at least 2 years.
I did,
So I don't know what condition that's in.
horrible.
But
Yeah, Mike,
Stony Hallquist, Jane Stadler, where we are now. And, come on, Ed. Fred Keller. Fred
Fred
Keller,
Keller's
Keller
the
Park
town.
is not on here.
That's just a baseball.
That's why
That's,
That's
okay,
really
that's got
not-
the baseball diamond, so I would, I'm gonna,
It's not even on.
I'm gonna X that out. It is not a very highly utilized park.
So what you're recommending is we don't put any playground equipment at Stony Hallquist? Because I think would that need to be removed now, Mike, for safety purposes or what, like? what-
Yeah.
No.
No, it's fine for now, but it's gonna have to be replaced eventually. Stuff that is
would you give an estimate for Stony Hallquist, Mike?
there. As far as,
As how much longer you
Longevity.
think the equipment might last? I know it's difficult.
that's almost impossible to do, but
Okay,
How long's it been up there for?
they're all about the same era. you
Yeah.
know,
I think
25 to
Ed,
30 years.
I think Ed, what they're trying to do is if we're gonna do it, let's do it all.
well, I'm
Not
thinking,
picking and choosing.
yeah, but I can't see the board. I mean, we are conservatively, I would imagine to replace all our equipment would easily be north of 2.5 to possibly 3 million.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you're not gonna put in equipment, and I might, tell me I'm nuts or whatever. You're not gonna put in decent playground equipment today for under 300K, possibly 450K.
well, you can look at the price list right here.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say for a neighborhood park, you're looking at all of 250 to 300. And then one at like Lisbon Community Park, where you're gonna have a bigger footprint, you're probably at that 450 to 500.
So just on that note,
Thank
the
you.
price that he has on here for the campaign or whatever that looks like. It's 220 for
Yeah,
the
Kate.
equipment and 10 for the freight. So that's installed. So what would there be ancillary costs onto this?
Yeah,
Added
I
onto
don't
the-
have that side.
And
Okay.
those are units too, so you can't pick and choose, you want this feature, that feature, when you look at the
You-
pictures.
You can, I mean, there.
But I mean, the price is what we have on here, when you look at it. On here, it looks like they're all kind of attached together and that's the name on it, the Pine Hill. And
Yeah,
it's-
I think they
yeah,
make
you can
like,
See what the Pine Hill cost and that's what you get for that money.
right, yeah, I think they make like,
Made it easy to
Yeah.
identify.
Yeah.
what was
like
on it.
pre-done plates, yeah.
I think what you have to look at too is you got two options here.
Yeah, you can.
You're
put-
not getting both.
Right.
You're getting one or the other,
Mm-hmm.
but that gives you an
An
idea
idea,
of
correct.
what you're getting
Yeah.
in the
Yes,
price.
correct.
Okay, so kind of
Yeah.
staying on our task here, so. We're saying that the playground equipment at LCP would be number 2 on the priority list, so which park after LCP's equipment would we want to say would be number
Village
3?
Hall Park,
Village Hall Park, so up here, Jane Stadler.
Jane Stadler.
You stole it from me. I was gonna say that. Well, I'm just trying to think of which parks are most utilized.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because there's no sense of us spending a lot of money putting equipment into a park that's underutilized.
Agreed. Is everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah, and the recommendation
Yes.
for Jane Stadler Park was to join the two different pieces together. And the new piece would go up next to the fire engine
Fire engine.
because it's, that would make more sense watching your kids, not one bunch is over there and one bunch is up
Who
there.
watches their children?
Okay,
And Paula,
Yes.
again, I just. Okay, please
Yeah.
bear it out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since community park is the most utilized, I feel. I think this estimate is gonna be low because I guess. Again, this is geared for the 5 to 12-year-olds.
Mhm.
Perhaps, and just throwing it out, could there be another separate one that addresses the 18-month to the age 5-year?
Absolutely. And
It's
we'll
just
make
that-
that note, yep.
Please, because, and again, so
Mhm.
I mean, this number is gonna be very low then if you're putting in 2 of them. I just wanna include the younger
Yep.
younger
Because
kids.
There
And
is,
not have that get lost.
currently the park at Lisbon Community has a sign marker that this is designed for what, 3 to 7-year-olds or something like that?
yeah,
very
it's
young.
younger, yeah.
Uh,
when we do have two separate
So-
pieces up there.
so that's a
One
great
is
point.
for the little ones and then there's the bigger piece.
So there's thank you for pointing that out, actually, Paul. If you look at under Lisbon Oaks Park, the swoosh. That's
Right.
designed for 2 to 5.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
So we
exactly.
can, so we could actually take those numbers and put that in with community park and come up with, and these are all
Okay,
ballpark
right.
numbers. We just wanted
Yes.
some numbers to actually, because it's very difficult to do this for me, at least without an actual number.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about,
Correct.
you know?
I just don't want that number, this 199 or 220.
I'm putting the
Like
high
it's,
numbers in
You
and
know, to
everything,
be
just to let
hard
you
to
know.
pass, because
Yeah.
that one's gonna have to be cost,
Yeah.
the cost's gonna be much higher.
And
Agreed.
designed, good point.
Mm-hmm.
Designed.
Mhm.
Even,
Thank you.
even tonight on my way here. the
Okay, and the next parking area,
Kids.
See.
would you say would be Lisbon Oaks Park?
What's the next most used one, Mike?
Lisbon Oaks Park or Stony Hellquist?
Definitely not Hellquist.
No, Lisbon Oaks Park would be the,
So
I
that would
would
be
put
number
Lisbon
4.
Oaks as number 2 used park, in my opinion.
oh, and then make
is-
Village Hall
so
Park the third
Stadler-
one?
3.
Okay,
Okay.
That's my opinion.
your opinion's good? Everybody
So
okay?
we were at Village, Jane Stadler, Lisbon Oaks, and then, I'm sorry, where were we going after that?
Community Park was 1,
Yep.
Lisbon Oaks is 2,
Oh,
Jane
Lisbon Oaks is
Stadler
2, I'm sorry,
and
okay.
Village,
Oh, we switched them.
Jane
Okay.
Stadler's 3. Is that correct, Mike?
You had bathrooms as
Yeah.
number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
No,
Community,
wait.
3 was-
He just said, why don't we switch them?
Right.
Switch Lisbon
Well,
Oaks
that's number one.
and Jane Stadler.
Jane Stadler.
Okay. We'll do that.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Village Park is 3rd.
yes,
Okay, I was awake.
So then that leaves us
Stony
Tony
Hill.
Halquist and Fred Cutler, we said no changes.
No
There is no
change.
playground equipment
No
there,
playground.
and nobody, we were saying we didn't think
No.
playground equipment was appropriate there.
No,
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
no.
It's only-
Accessibility.
Are there a lot of
scenario.
kids that end up being there when the baseball field is rented? And what do all the kids do? Just run around on the field or just sit
Play on the
there?
culverts that are behind the
Yeah.
DPW.
They get in the salt shed.
Well, what is your thought about putting playground equipment up there, Mike?
I'm all for it,
Yeah.
but I do feel that we need to replace the current stuff we have before we add.
Yeah.
More, you know.
Wait, so we put that like last on the list.
I would put it last.
So should we add number 5?
Yeah.
Well, the
would
only one we,
be
oh,
Fred Keller?
we said Stone Family is good for now.
Right.
Right.
That one we
Literally.
said.
Stone
Family.
Family, yeah.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Yes, brand new,
That's
so we don't
not
have any
even on
changes to Stone Family.
No.
So that left us Stony Halquist for 5 and Fred Keller for 6.
Stony Halquist would be 4.
Well, I'm,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
So Mike, what, at Stone Family, what ages is the equipment that's currently there geared for?
So all playground equipments, there are 2 age groups, 2 to 5,
Okay,
and then 5 to 12.
Great,
Is
thank
what
you.
they're categorized as.
okay.
As far as equipment.
You know
wise.
what,
So we can use
Great.
that as a model perhaps for some of the others.
That's a great call out, Danette.
Correct.
Can we do this? Can we go back through the list of parks and we'll just go through those 2 different age groups? Because I don't think every park needs both age groups.
Correct.
So we'll say LCP does need both, correct?
Yes.
And then Lisbon Oaks, we're saying needs just the smaller or
Oh, there was a request for older.
There are a lot of
They're doing
sports.
Soccer tonight and.
And the basketball court.
And the basketball
know.
court, yeah, the kids.
I will say I do disagree with that, not putting both age groups.
Yeah, I
in
think
it.
all parks need both.
Yeah.
Okay,
Especially a neighborhood park like Lisbon
Mhm.
Oaks.
yeah,
I mean, you look at Thousand Oaks,
Okay.
Woodland Oaks.
yeah, I live there.
Thousand Oaks 6, all those subdivisions.
Good
go
point.
into
If you're
that park.
planning for the future.
In my opinion, you have to do.
Okay,
Mm.
does everybody agree with that?
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
yeah.
because we're covering our
And
bases.
Mike, do you recall, what was the final cost of the park equipment at Stone Family in conjunction with Sussex? Do you recall?
Just for the park equipment. Like 180,
Okay.
and that's just the equipment and the surface.
Okay,
so
that wasn't the freight to get it there or
That would
assembly
have
or,
included that, and we installed it ourselves or in group,
So-
with the company. But that part, we also added the paving for that
Right.
path into that.
right?
And then there's additional costs for, like restoration needs when we're done, because when you do a new surface, you have to, like, it has to be perfectly level. So that's
Okay.
why it's Stone Family, why it was up 2 feet on the one end.
Sure.
So we had to bring a ton of stone in to get that built up,
Mhm.
and then all the restoration when you're done. So I think all said and done, it was over by 230 in that ballpark.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that was, what, 3-4 years ago? So
Mhm.
if we did that same park today, it'd probably be closer to 250, 270. would be my guess.
I guess some of the clarification, at least in my mind, that we still need is. Like, the numbers that we're looking at right now are for the equipment and the estimated freight. Does that include putting the footings in, it doesn't include any of that? So
Okay.
do they,
I mean-
do they dig the footings? Do we dig the footings? Who does that?
We did it.
We would dig the footing.
And that's done when you install it.
And then restoration.
But like these numbers right here, I mean, just from what I'm seeing, having just seen this, are just for the equipment and then the freight.
Yep.
So like I said, you gotta put stone in for a base. So I mean, there's probably 12,000 just right there.
So I think, and not to stop you, but I think they're talking about putting in turf and not wood chips.
So that doesn't include this either. I promise you that for these
Okay,
prices.
no, that's good to
And
know.
General rule of thumb for any surface you put on a playground, especially if it's poured in place or turf, it's the same price as the equipment. It's generally, that's a good rule of thumb.
Wow, okay.
Raise the taxes.
So so you're basically doubling what you see here. Really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Russell did for pricing and how he figured that out, but a general rule of thumb is whatever you pay for playground equipment, you're gonna pay that for the surface.
But this
to
gives
know.
us a start. We're starting here. We're getting, finally, we're moving ahead.
Yeah.
Instead of kicking the can, we've kicked the can for how many years, guys?
Okay, well,
Okay.
yeah,
Big
like
can.
exactly, we gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a big can.
It is a big can.
What is the bottom open timber threshold? Are we, that's a
Yes.
shelter? Are we just gonna make a recommendation on the play equipment now?
Well, I think that we put everything on this list. We just keep going down the list of priorities. I mean, if you know, there, like, we talked
Should
about a
we
new
s-
ice rink, we talked about, you know, some other things that are on, yes.
We may want to separate the play equipment out.
It's all gonna be in one, but it's gonna all come out of one budget though, so I think it's,
Okay.
Paula,
Yeah,
I think this open timber trust shelter got in here because we talked about other parks having some kind of a shelter, rental shelter or something of that sort.
I don't know how that.
yeah, in the original 5-year plan, I think, one of the things in there said every one of the parks should have a shelter, and they don't.
And that's probably how that got
Yeah,
snuck in there.
so I don't know, what is everybody's feeling on every park having a shelter?
Which parks don't have a shelter?
I don't think Stone Family has a shelter.
Stone Family is the only one that does not.
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
any.
Stone
Keller.
Family is shelterless.
Fred
Elizabeth
Keller
Oaks
doesn't.
and Stony Hellquest have a small.
Very small.
Very
and
small
picnic
shelter.
Table.
Yeah,
Shelter. I mean, it's something, but it's
Yeah,
not a lot.
but this is a number in case we need a replacement or something of that sort. If nothing else, like the rest of this being budget numbers
I,
for a shelter.
You know,
Okay.
the shelter that's right here in our backyard, i.e. Jane Stadler, is the oldest shelter, I believe, in our system.
Let's finish this.
Yep.
It's showing it too.
Yeah,
And then work
Yeah,
with
so
shelters,
Okay.
and then work
is-
on the other stuff.
is that? I have no idea. In fact, I mean, I'm seeing 16 feet by 28. Well, that shelter's bigger than that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, much bigger. So I have no idea what the estimated cost, but certainly in Jane Stadler, the park shelter needs to be replaced.
do we have any idea what the cost to do the upgrades or the maintenance to that to get it back to fighting form would be?
It depends on if I have time to do it or not.
Mhm.
I mean, basically, there's 6 of the uprights that need to be replaced. They're starting to just rot out. And that's the problem, it's built like a pole barn style.
Yeah,
that
it
are
was.
normally enclosed. Well, this thing's open to the elements.
Mm.
So the problem is those posts go into the ground 4 or 5 feet, well, they rot it out, where most newer ones, they pour a footing and then the post sits on top of that. So it's not
So you don't have that
open to
problem.
the elements all the time, it's wet soil and all that, so.
So do you have to remove the whole post?
So I'd have to
pole?
remove the post, I'd have to cut out some of the concrete and then put a footing in and then
Sounds like a terrible job.
replace it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Job security.
Let's stick with
Yep.
the
Okay.
agenda on C is playground
Yep.
structures.
Okay, so, yes, I
then move
agree,
on
Marlene, thank
to-
you. Okay, so what we've got then is what we are gonna, our recommendation to the board is the flushable toilets at LCP, and then an order of replacement playground with, equipment is gonna be LCP number 1, Lisbon Oaks number 2, Jane Stadler number 3, Stony Huckles number 4, and Fred Keller number 5. So that's the order that we would like to do that in, is that correct? Okay,
Yes.
okay, so
was
do we
easy.
want
Are we
to,
putting anything in Fred Keller?
well, we said if we can get new equipment. If we decide that it goes up there, we would do it.
Okay,
I mean,
let's
it's
make
at the
that
bottom of the list.
recommendation.
Yep, so who would like to make a recommendation to recommend to the board 2 flush toilets at LCP, and then the order of priority replacing the park equipment in the parks that we just went over?
Do we need specifically to outline each one as you just indicated?
I mean, I can do it again. Do you want me to do it again? Okay, so the 2 flush toilets, then the park priority in order for replacement of playground equipment is LCP number 1,
Right,
Lisbon Oaks number 2,
correct.
Jane Stadler number 3, Stony Halquist number 4, and Fred Keller, we're gonna call it number 5, but that would be brand new equipment if we,
Could you clarify the 2 structures for the toilets? 2 separate buildings with 2 flushable toilets in each.
One is a smaller structure and the other one is
Yeah.
gonna be connected to a bigger structure.
correct?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay,
You want to make that recommendation?
So move,
I
Madam
second,
Chairman.
okay,
I second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, whew. Yay. Okay.
Mm.
All right, I'll get up and do a little dance. Okay,
It only took so many years to do this, guys.
okay, so now we're moving on to new business discussion, only regarding the status update of the possible ATC grant for the buckhorn eradication.
And I have to apologize, guys. I came home for vacation, landed in the hospital. And I just started looking this Monday. And I'm going, oh, I was supposed to do that. I didn't do a thing. So could we table that?
Yes. Yep, we'll table that, okay. Item C, discussion only regarding possible funding options for the parks. I know we've sort of been batting this one around too. This is kind of like hot potato, right?
Hmm.
I mean, other than doing something with our community festival and I mean, it would be kind of cool if we had a plan, we could put some drawings up there and maybe you'd get some interest for, folks at community festival to, maybe do something there. Cause we'll have a lot of residents in, at the community festival to see what we've got planned. So that's kind of my thought, to start interested in it that way to see what we can do.
Could we put something on the town,
Oh,
the
sure.
village?
Of course, we would always do
Website.
that, yep. And I know Kathy has spoken to, a lot of the new bigger businesses that are in here too, but I don't know how much, until we have an actual plan put together, until we can show them and tell them this is what we're recommending. There's really not much we can do with that.
Yeah.
So that still is, a possibility to get some, sponsorship from them once we can show them that this is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Historically, villages, towns, et cetera, the park budget usually is the smaller of any of the budgets, right?
Mhm.
Fire, obviously highways. There's no easy answer
Mhm.
to increase funding unless the board would approve, quote, the monies besides doing fundraising. Because unless and you just mentioned, Kathy is talking about corporate sponsorship. I would assume that obviously is going to come with some strings attached.
No, we'll just
Might be like a, sponsored by
logo on the
PepsiCo or
Or
Pizza
something,
Ranch or
something.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, to the bathroom.
Possibly when we get a new administrator, we could sit down and work with them to find out about looking into grants. We used to have John Halber, used to be our grant guy. He'd find grants all over the place. Maybe we could do something like that.
Yeah, I think there's there's a boatload of
ways,
grants out
yes.
there.
Yeah.
Paula,
Yes,
before the meeting is over, I don't see a place where I could ask a question since it's not on the agenda, but my question's gonna be, what's the status of the ball diamonds? Since we thought they were gonna be started on October 2nd. I don't see any action up there. So does that have to be added to talk about next meeting, or am I allowed to ask about that at any time in this meeting?
I think whenever you ask anything, it needs to be on the agenda, but do we even have any update when the ball diamond
I
starts?
thought it was October 15th.
Oh, see, I thought it was the 2nd, the 15th. Okay, I mean,
I think originally we thought it was earlier, but then the date was pushed back, who knows, by the
Okay.
contract.
I mean, I don't want to be out of order.
Yeah, no,
Tomorrow, and I can get you an update.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay.
okay.
Are you gonna be there with a golden shovel?
Yeah, why not?
The giant scissors?
Yeah, we could cut the ribbon. and- Yeah, I'll send you an email.
Might as well make it festive. It's not but a lot of fun.
I just saw this here. That one's done. I'll bring my shovel.
Yeah,
Bring
this,
your
this is,
shovel.
this is old stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're done with B, so we'll move on to C. So discussion and necessary action to approve a staff authorized parks survey and recommendation to the village board of same. So Mike had put that together for us. Was I the only one you sent that to?
Everyone got the original one. I think I sent you an updated one. I
The-
changed a few.
The Google form?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just changed, I reworded a few things. I had my wife, who is much smarter than me, look it over and she just changed some wordage on there, so.
Okay.
And I believe I sent that to you.
Yeah, I mean, I had it as a Google form, so I couldn't
Yeah.
print or do anything with it.
Okay.
Do you have like a hard copy of it
I
by chance?
Do not.
Okay.
I did go over like off of the original one that I had sent. or
Mhm.
Shared with the last meeting.
Yep.
That's basically the one that I did use.
Okay.
I just put it on a different form.
So here's my thought on that, and we can open this up for discussion. So we had sent the recommendation to the board about, doing this, hiring this company to do a overall, survey of the parks. I think a survey would be part of that if that got approved. So,
But we have it right here. So why hire somebody?
I thought Mike's survey was gonna be different than what their survey was.
This is an overall park survey. This is not, specific to one particular park. I don't see it in the packet. It was in here, but it's
Yeah.
not in.
Yeah,
Their
I
old
did not
one.
receive any documents to include in the packet.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, Paula would
Yeah.
be, if surveys are surveys, and I think we were talking as Kathy did that presentation, 25K. Was that an accurate figure?
And I don't know
What's
how
the
accurate
figure?
that figure is.
What
No, that-
they have to vote to spend money, because it may cost that much. That was not a budget.
I would,
So Ed, what you're asking, that is for a master parks plan for all of the parks in the village.
right,
What this is, it's just the survey that Mike drafted for LCP.
But the survey that Mike drafted is not specifically for LCP. It's for like an overall.
That's
park.
right, that's
Yes.
changed now. But I thought there was just,
No, it was
No,
for all of them.
verbiage includes all of them.
No,
No, because it says on here, what park to
This
use,
is
is it
all of them.
most and why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
that's
clarifying,
correct.
so I get it right in the notes.
yeah, no, we're good.
no, you have nothing else to work on, so, you know.
That's what.
Yeah.
Started
to
She
snow,
gave me
yeah.
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I mean, my comment would be, it's sometimes it's very helpful for a third party to intervene. That has no skin in the game and can just look at the whole system and say, I would do this, I would do
Yeah.
that, I would do so and so. Because obviously we carry our prejudices. I'm very prejudiced towards LCP
Mhm.
because it's in my backyard. But there may be things that need to be done looking forward. You know, Paul mentioned the 15-20 year window. Who knows where we're gonna be in 20 years?
Yeah.
Time goes quick.
So I guess what I'm saying is, under consideration is as to what exactly is being proposed. I would probably lean in the direction of yes, if the board, you know, is willing to come up with that money,
Yeah.
that I would be in favor of an individual assessment. Even though we have worked very hard on the 5-year plan and on everything else that's on the table in front of us.
My only thought on that is it would be a duplication costing us money. When, like you said, here it is. There it is. We've done it. Why do we want somebody to come in? Who's
Well, just for the factor
for
of,
25 grand or whatever?
yeah, well, we're gonna have, again, we're gonna have a new chairman, we're gonna have a new administrator, we're gonna have a new board, realistically.
Yeah.
Because we'll have possibly 2 new members, definitely possibly 3.
Mm.
And I'm just wondering, how are they gonna look at all this? Because part of what we wanted to do via our last meeting, the meeting I was not at in September, is a focus on what we see moving forward for LCP. And that's, I'm sure that's on every committee member's mind, because LCP, a lot of our smaller parks, we know why they're there. The land was donated to us, then the town at the time and the village came up with the money to basically put in equipment over decades,
Mhm.
realistically.
The only thing is we're getting way off of agenda.
Well, I'm just, you know,
Inappropriate
Well, we're
stuff.
talking about the
Yeah.
survey piece of it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
so anyway,
That's
that,
to do with the survey.
I'm taking too much time. I know the time's fleeing. I don't know how the committee feels, but, and I obviously appreciate Marlene's comment because it is money,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, 25K is a lot of money.
And if we're gonna spend 25K duplicating what we have here, let's use the 25K towards.
But they'll obviously do more than just ask questions. They'll have some kind of strategic plan after the fact that here's where the bathroom should go, here's where the ball diamonds should go, et cetera.
I don't know if they're gonna do maps or what that's something you have to find out. What are
That's
they
right.
gonna do for the 25?
That's right.
So
Are
that
they
has-
gonna do what
That's
we've
the-
done
that's
here?
it, that's it
Then
right
why
there.
give them 25K to do
So
that?
then, we've already recommended to the village board, to do the overall strategic park plan. So then what I would suggest, we recommend to use Mike's survey, because then again, it's gonna have to be approved one way or another. And we would have more information at that point, what that overall strategic plan would look like. Does it include a survey? If it does, then
Well,
to your
that
point, it
should
wouldn't be a good
front and
idea to
center, 'cause
duplicate
We
effort.
don't know what we're buying.
Right.
You know, this 25,000 was just a entry number that
I don't-
anything over that, you have to get the votes in.
Yeah.
And they can spend below that at their
Yeah.
whim.
As I had mentioned to Marlene, Paul, the mention when
Yeah.
Kathy made that proposal to us, I suggested, I mean, you know, because whatever this company is, maybe it's Foth, I don't know. Because we still engage with Foth, don't we, in the planning commission level?
We do, but for something like that, they would put it out to bid.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
put
we
it up.
won't know any prices until we get bid.
Yeah,
and it
I
could-
would-
I think there's actual companies that specialize. in
yeah,
that.
I would like to see a
Yeah.
representative
But
from
we're
said company,
pushing
sorry.
it to buy the meetings last year. So we've got to stick to. the
Stick to
agenda.
this now.
'Cause-
That's
because
what I
don't
just
wanna be in
said.
the news.
Walk there.
Well, if I get locked up, it's at state expense.
Okay, Ed,
Right.
move on, Paula.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, here we go.
Discussion and necessary action.
So,
Understood.
are we going to make a recommendation to the village board to approve the staff authorized park survey?
We don't know what we're.
Well,
Right here.
That one. there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be distributed, we talked about in the tax bill.
Yes,
In the tax bill.
and it would be, there would be a way to get it on the village website and such.
Of other means like this, Sharon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it can't hurt. It
Yeah,
can't
so
hurt, doesn't
move.
cost
I mean,
anything.
basically.
Yes, I agree.
It's a recommendation.
Yes.
Okay,
That
we
would
have a
be Ed.
second.
He's so move, I'll second that.
All
Okay,
in
thank you,
favor?
Paul.
Yeah.
All in
Yeah.
favor? Aye.
I,
Yeah.
Opposed? Okay,
That
We're not
information
usually this
cannot
rowdy.
hurt at all.
okay,
It doesn't cost.
a lot of stuff.
to do that.
and
Okay.
Okay.
we have covered a lot of ground, every one of the committees, so we don't have any
Hey,
misinformation.
we got 4
Everybody
minutes.
knows.
I got 2 of them.
Oh,
Recommendations for future agenda items.
I'd like
Marlene,
to put the Easter egg hunt on there. By the time we talk about this, it'll be November. And as I told everybody, I will be happy to continue on organizing the Easter egg hunt with all your guys' help, as I've done in the past.
be the bunny.
Also add to the future agenda. I don't want to be the bunny, you're the bunny. Future agenda, June festival. And we have to find out, I don't know, what has been done. I've gotten, and this is going ahead a little bit. I have gotten queries from people. What are you doing for the June festival? Can I put my name in?
okay, well, that will be on
So,
our next
The
agenda.
next agenda. And that's why I'd like to put it in. So if somebody calls me and says, hey,
And then I would like to be kept in the loop and informed as to how the ball diamond installation is going. So do we have to put that on the next agenda? So
We
we
could-
could get a report on that next month?
All on a regular basis, we can give you updates.
Okay, all right. And that, I mean, we
Do
as,
we want to, do you,
I mean.
do you want to
well,
do it as a park committee, like get an update every time?
Right, I mean, I would like that. I mean, I would. I'm guessing, does
Yeah,
anybody else
I
want to
think
know
so.
how that,
Yeah.
how it's coming along?
I was gonna say you could walk across the street and see it.
Right.
Yeah, we'll make, Michael make a part of his park supervisor report.
Would you please?
Yeah.
Thank you, because that way we're, we're kept abreast of it, how it's going month by
Yeah,
month.
No, I
and
think
all
that,
of
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Thank you.
Great idea.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Nope, okay, then we are going to close the meeting at 5:59.
Yay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I
Second.
second it.
All in favor?
I,
Okay, we're out.
We're done.
we got through it all. Thanks for
Good.